Find something that you can do to empower yourself and also empower others. You just got to keep failing until you win. Like if you want it that much, you just keep failing until you win. Engage with your community and build supportive networks. Feels like I joined those groups for coaching the traditional way that they were coaching, but none of that helped me that way. Look at the resilience of what we've been able to do. Hey billionaires, it is your girl Blessin Destiny here, and welcome to this episode of the B Word. I am getting excited about this project. If you've been around from the beginning, then you know that at first I really wasn't in the mood for this per se. This was a project, a love offering to God, but even with that, if it's a love offering to God, you should be in the mood for it. But I wasn't. I was just in the mood of being obedient. Like, God, whatever it is you want me to do, I just want to be obedient. Let the passion for it grow over time. Because a lot of times his ways are not your ways. So things he may want you to do may be things you don't want to do. But whose report will you believe? We shall believe the report of the Lord. So the B Word is all about the downloads that God is just offering to me so graciously, just rich, valuable information. And he was like, I want you to share this with the world. I need your voice to be heard. It may not be for he didn't say it may not be for everybody. My mind is saying it may not be for everybody. My mind is thinking about my avatar, how I feel women, men like me, the underdogs, the black sheep. We want the world, we deserve the world, but people just seem to overlook us. And then it's really us overlooking ourselves, and we're looking at blaming the finger at somebody, but really it's four fingers, something like that, pointing back at you, more at you than at the world, right? But yeah, just going through that but better phase, realizing what's working for you, realizing what's not working for you, really honing into and listening to God, what he desires for you, and following that play. Because people like me, who think they're very intelligent and very logical and great studiers, often hear from God, but think their ways are better than God's ways. And he has a way of humbling you and teaching you who's in control. So here we are. But I like to think of myself of like the shepherd who may have 100 people in their flock and one gets left behind. And most people are not going to pay attention to that one person that gets left behind. I want to be that person that pays attention to that one person because I'm her. I'm the black sheep. I do well in groups, so people don't know I'm not doing well. But you have to be paying great attention to know if there is something. And I'm paying great attention to you other loners, to you other one-of-oneers, to you other self-lovers, because even though you practice self-love, having love from other people is vitally important, and you cherish that so much because you don't let a lot of people into your ecosystem like I do. That when you do, it is love overboard. So a lot of people think you're not a lover because you've learned how your empathy works, if that's a word. You learned that you're an empath, so you learned how to distribute it where it doesn't take everything from you, but you do the best you can to share it without being depleted, right? Right. So that was just a little introduction about even how we got here in the first place, but that was a lot because today's episode is still in the mindset of resilience, like the last episode that we spoke on. We're just piggybacking on that with some additional information. We may stay here for another week or two, just to make sure that that resiliency in you is drilled in and what that looks like, y'all. So again, resilience for me is a combination of knowing when to be tough, when to be soft, but never giving up. I did not realize until lately that a lot of my resiliency I can attribute to the women and the men in my family and the angels just leading me along with God, from my genetics, how to be a warrior queen as enemy. I didn't just make that up. It had to come from somewhere. And that resiliency is I read something on Instagram that made me think about things differently because I have my own hopes, prayers, and dreams and wishes and things, manifestations that I want to come true. But I saw something that said, the life I'm living now is my grandmother's prayers, my great grandmother's prayers. And I was like, wow, I can just see Barack one day just living off the dreams of me, and then him dreaming, and his kids and their kids living off the dream of him. So when I was around here, sometimes I'm a little entitled with my father, God in heaven. Like I'm the spoiled daughter. And I'm like, God, I want this and I want this and I want this and I want this. And I just thought about, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, but my grandmother has this, my great grandmother has this, and all the things they thought about. Even my mom was like, girl, the things you're able to do alone with God, like you and God, God and you, like I know I've accomplished a lot and it was all God, which I contribute to her for doing, but it was always people sent to kind of help her along the way. And the same for me. People have always helped me along the way. But it's always been that seed, that mustard seed that started with me that no one had to offer me or convince me of, that's just been in me, that I am going to be resilient and I'm going for the life that I deserve. I am afraid, but I'm going anyway because it takes the same amount of energy to focus on faith as it does failure, if not more on failure, because it's like so many ways you can fail. Usually you have one way you want to win, and God just is, his plan is not your plan, so you get what you want but so much bigger with him. So it's better to just focus on what it is you want, and it requires you to be very resilient, to not lose focus on the things that you truly desire. So today's episode is going to be overall short and brief. I just want to share with you guys an acronym that I came up with to help you stay in your resilience and to remind you what that actually looks like when you're living your day to day and life is trying to beat you up. The kids is trying to beat you up. The job is trying to beat you up. Your friends are trying to beat you up. Your husband is trying to beat you up. How to look at all of those things as positive as possible, be resilient with it, move forward to accomplish the goal. Okay. While hearing from God is the overall mission. I was just talking to my boyfriend and I was letting him know that I was having a struggle with what spirit wants versus what the flesh wants. And I want to get them on one accord as best as I can, knowing that it's not always possible and that they really do like different things. But when you clean up the flesh, it does start to like the things that your spirit does like. And I think that you and I together can focus on these things and clean up our act. Basically, in a nutshell, is what I was saying. Okay, so today we go in on the word resilience. The R is for reinforcement. You have to reinforce this knowledge, this terminology, this drivenness over and over and over again. Strengthen your mind and your beliefs to overcome challenges. When a challenge comes your way, you don't want to run from it. You don't want to put it at the end of your to-do list. You want to go ahead and run at it full speed ahead. I saw something recently on Instagram where we all learned from the difference between bulls and cows. Bulls, which is significant, run toward the storm. Cows run away from the storm. Why is that important? If you are a bull and you're running toward the storm, you get through the storm faster because you ran toward it, you endured it, and now you're on the other side. If you're the cow and you wait for the storm to come to you, now you're watching it come, you're dreading it come, you're thinking about it coming, then you're in it. It lives there for however it decides to be a storm, and you have to wait for it to be over. Versus the bull is just dozes its way right on through the storm. So though it feels the pain, the suffering, just like the cow, quicker. Resilience is about how quick can you get through the problem to overcome. Problems will come, period. How long do you want to be in that discomfort? How long do you want to be uneasy? Your job is to figure out how to be a bull and get through it as quickly as possible. So for the R is reinforcement. Strengthen your mind to run toward what you see as a problem, and then change your perspective from it being a problem to God highlighting something that you can correct. For example, today I have something that I think about a lot, and I'm challenging myself to not think about it at all. So I keep thinking about it. So when I think about it, I'm like, oh, snap. And that's negative. Like your body understands you. Oh, snap is me saying, dang, I thought about it again. And that's my subconscious mind receiving a failure. Today I was like, I'm going to change that to, oh my God, I thought about that again. That makes me think to remember God told me to be anxious and worried about nothing, to be worried and anxious for nothing. So every time that thing comes up, instead of me feeling bad about, dang, I thought about it again, I use it as a positive reminder, like, oh, I thought about that again. That's my reminder to from God. His promises are so true, to be worried and anxious for nothing. Everything is already taken care of. Everything is already working out for my good. Being anxious and being worried just causes wrinkles. Like, what is the point? So I might as well find my way back to the peace of it all and get through this as quickly as I can. And getting through the storm is by looking at the storm as an opportunity. Oh my God, I love getting wet in the rain. Like, the earth has just been so dry. I cannot wait to get to this storm. Feel the raindrops on my skin. Like, the sound of the thunderstorm is such a relaxing thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you got to experience the storm. Then your brain goes, oh, she likes this. Let me give her more things that she likes. Because whatever you program it to give you, this is what it's going to give you. But if you like, you don't like this and you're afraid of, let me give her more things she doesn't like. Let me give her more things she's afraid of. So you always want to program your mind to make everything work out for your good. Everything. God is already doing it, but now you got to do it. And you got to reinforce that every single time. E is for empower. Empower yourself and others through knowledge and support. That's what we're doing here now. I do a lot of reading of the Bible. I do a lot of reading of self-help books. I do a lot of reading of myself. I do a lot of reading of people. So that is me empowering myself with knowledge, but also providing that to you guys. The whole purpose of the B word was, Blessin, I need you to give back all of the wealth that I provide in you. Share that with your people. Give them the living word. Let them eat. Empower them so they can go empower somebody. And it's always those little messages that I receive that is like, I met this guy. He has a girlfriend. I have a boyfriend, but he was just letting me know that his experience of meeting me made him feel taller, made him feel prouder. And that's really my gift. I want people to feel, especially men, because we don't congratulate them and give them enough flowers enough that when they leave my presence, they feel like they got flowers. And I hear that a lot, that I give that energy. And that is just me empowering them to be the king that I see in them. Like, I call them kings and I call you women queens, because I know what we are made of and what we're capable of. And the only reason is to empower you. It's just the simple things. So find something that you can do to empower yourself and also empower others. The S in resilience, self-care. Prioritize self-care to maintain mental and emotional well-being. So prioritizing self-care is not about going to the spa. It is not about getting your nails done and your brows done and your lashes done. Prioritizing self-care is about how you feel on the inside, the way that your thoughts are thinking, what people, places, and things are triggering and igniting the opposite of what you want to feel. Even though you know how to overcome these things, because you are resilient, it's nothing like eliminating these things or staying away from these things as much as possible. Because again, why endure pain if we don't have to? So if we know that this person is triggering us, stay away from them. If we know that this environment is doing whatever, don't go there. That is self-care. And we know that everybody's expecting you to be there. We know everybody loves seeing your face in the building because you're the light. You bring the energy. But when you go there, it drains you. You don't feel bad. Self-care is putting yourself first. And yes, I might prioritize other people sometimes because I'm here to empower, but never from an empty cup. Like, I have to stay full so that when I am in your presence, you continue to feel that empowering energy that you feel, because I don't let y'all empty me. It's about putting yourself on a pedestal, not like she thinks she all that, but like, no, you can't care for anything else more than you care for yourself. Everything is a reflection of you. Like, for an example, my boyfriend, he wants to FaceTime me sometimes. And because we don't FaceTime a lot, because I'm old school. I just don't believe in FaceTime, and not because I just didn't grow up with it. But that's no excuse. That's just who I am. But the truth is, half the time I'm raggedy. And I find myself like, oh, I need to get cute just in case he wants to FaceTime. No, You need to be cute because God made you beautiful. Why are you walking around here looking raggedy? Do it for you. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. The self-care is that you care for yourself so much that you want to be on a pedestal, and it don't have to be makeup and the best clothes, but whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you ready to FaceTime, makes you ready to walk out that door and feel your best, do that. If that is walking out in your natural hair, do that. If that is walking out with no makeup on because you want to show the world that God made you beautiful and wonderfully made, do that. But that is the self-care. Whatever you would do for others because you would do it for them, do it for you. I buy myself flowers all the time, but I was going through a little thing like overthinking it, but we're not going to go there. The point that I want to make is I wanted my boyfriend to send me some. He was taking longer than I wanted him to take. I went and bought my own flowers, and not in a negative like way. It was just like, you know what? I really like flowers. The flowers on my desk are dead. And, on top of that, I had been envisioning 3 bouquets of flowers on my dining room table, like 3 different dozens or yeah, 3 different dozens or more of flowers, like just different vases. And I went and bought myself flowers. He brought me flowers. And flowers are and then the garden in the backyard that we talked about on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me there. Technically, that's not a vase of flowers, but the flowers did come in threes. I saw 3 vases of flowers in my meditation. And because I was willing to take care of myself, God brought the increase, the energy change, the frequency change. Like we're long distance lovers. Even he felt it in a whole nother city because it all starts with you. Okay. And it can't be a needy energy. It has to be, I am fulfilled. I am living my best life. I am taking care of myself. And therefore, I already have everything I need. Anything I don't have, I can go get. And the more, the more. How you do anything is how you do everything. If I buy myself flowers, only more flowers can come because my mind is blooming. Okay. And then I was thinking about people. Like I've been losing people. I've been gaining people. And I said, you know what? I'm a flower. Flowers bloom and prune. We bloom like I keep trying to bloom, but it's not always a blooming season. Sometimes it is a pruning season. And what sense did that make that we have to cut away the old flower for the new flower to bloom? That's just how it works. That's just the principle. So let me get in the principle and understand that it's not a negative that I got to prune things, people, places. I'm a flower. And it's a part of the process. It's a part of the principle of how flowers grow. Look how I turned that around. I'm so resilient. Next, we're going to go to I. I is for inspiration. Seek inspiration from stories of resilience, including your own. Think about how far you've come. Boy, I remember being 22 years old with sleeping literally. I didn't have to sleep on the floor, but I was sleeping on the floor, which meant I had to sleep on the floor because if I didn't have to sleep on the floor, I wouldn't have been sleeping on the floor. So technically, I had to sleep on the floor, right? And just no furniture. It was 4 of us sharing one apartment here in Atlanta. And the roommates wasn't paying their bills. They was skipping out. Now I got to pay they part of the bills. And never once did I feel like, oh my God, I can't do this. Every single time I felt like, oh my God, I got to do this because I'm going to win. I'm a winner. Winners win. Being resilient is about having that winning mindset. But the inspiration I draw on all the time is when I'm feeling weak or when I feel like something's not going to work out. I go back to a story of something when it did work out. I remember when I quit my job, and I was trying to get accident referrals. And by the way, this episode is brought to you by Your Accident, Your Money. You or anyone you know ever in a car accident, we pay you if we can help them up to $200 per person for anyone that we can assist. So that means if you refer an accident with 2 people in the car, that is up to $200 per person, not per accident. And that can rake up really, really quickly if you observe it and always keeping your eyes open. Make sure you call 888-7-MONEY-8 if you experience anyone in a wreck. They're going to get a check, obviously, for their pain and suffering, but you get one for referring them. You get a check. You get a check. You get a check. Everybody gets a check when you work with me. Because it's a win-win situation for everybody. When I quit that job and I couldn't get no accident referrals, I felt so bad. I knew it was going to eventually work out, but I quit my job 6 months pregnant. I didn't have time for eventually to work out. I need you to work out yesterday. And it didn't work out yesterday, but I never gave up. Every day I showed up. Like literally today that I'm recording this is C-section awareness day, or April is the month. I had that C-section and my resilience was back to work in 3 days because I was like, I have a mouth, two of them to feed now, me and this baby. So it was just like I couldn't take no for an answer. But the inspiration was now as a trader, and I'm trading horribly. I'm like, I'm never going to get this. I would say a good 70% of my success in trading is me looking back at my failures of the accident and how that became a success. I kept saying, if I did it once, I'll do it again. If God did it before, he'll do it again, but better. Every time I lost something or didn't get what I thought I wanted, God always gave me better. He's going to do it this time too. So I always use that old story, like, because it was difficult growing your accident, your money. But I use that, like, look at that difficulty that I overcame. I can overcome another difficulty. The proof is in the pudding. All right. The L, guys, the L is for learn. Embrace lessons and setbacks and failures as opportunities of growth. Listen, failure used to feel really embarrassing to me. Through social media. Before social media, I failed, took my nose, shook it off, kept going till I got a yes. Social media, with everybody on here acting like they're winning and winning quickly, and you must be an idiot if you're not making millions of dollars offline. I was feeling like an idiot. Like, why can't I crack this code? But you're not an idiot. You just got to keep failing until you win. Like, if you want it that much, you just keep failing until you win. And that is who I am. Nothing's a failure. Actually, everything has been a learning lesson. I had just told my boyfriend that I had a bad trading experience this morning because I broke my rule. You know what I did when I hung up with him? Had another bad trading experience again because I broke the same damn rule in the same damn day. Did I fail or did I not learn? Learn from your mistakes and don't repeat them. Is about being resilient. All right. Imagination. Use your imagination to envision a brighter future and innovative solutions. Listen, I'm a daydreamer. I'm a dreamer. I'm a journaler. I'm a meditationer. I'm a visualizationer. Because if you can see it, you can be it. If you can see it, you have something to strive toward. And whatever you see it as big as you possibly can, because whatever you see, God is going to multiply it. So give him something to multiply, like whatever you can come up with. And it's not about mansions and cars. It's whatever you like, guys. What you like might not be what I like, but whatever you like, think big, because God is going to bring the increase and it's going to blow your mind. As a child, and I love having a child, and I think it's one of the reasons God gives us children, so we can see them, us and them, and remember the innocence and remember the pureness and remember the dreams and remember how we used our imagination and how, just a piece of paper could be something so creative that you turn it into, as like just drawing, just playing with Legos and just building. Like, that imagination is how you create things. And a lot of us adults get trained out of it through schooling because they no longer want you to use your imagination after a certain age. They want you to follow the cookie cutter design of American life. No, guys. Imagine living in other countries. Imagine talking several languages. Imagine your children not having to go to school and you homeschool them. Imagine being very wealthy. Imagine not having money problems. Like, that's a possibility. We're going to always have problems, but we can imagine not having money problems. And if we believe it, we receive it. Okay? Engage with your community and build supportive networks. I am such a loner. This is where I am weak. And this is where I'm looking for you guys. And this is a nice time for me to drop my community. I do have a community. It is the Before Breakfast Club. the Plan B community. And right now we're focusing on getting your life together before you do anything, like spending that time with God. This is called Bright Journeys via Mindful Growth Strategies. That is an acronym for Bible verses that we provide daily and weekly, journal prompts, visualization prompts, meditation prompts, guided gratitude prompts, and self-help prompts. I get up daily between the hours of like 3 and 5. It's called the golden hour. You're supposed to be special if God wakes you up during that time. And God desires you to spend that time with him and not scrolling on social media or just being distracted. Like, how you start is how you finish. And he wants you to finish with him and end with him. He wants you to start strong and end strong. So I am basically just your accountability coach, just to hold you accountable for, hey, this is what we're reading today. Hey, did you do your mindful practice? Because here is how so within, so without. So the things that we're imagining, the things that we're desiring, the things that we're dreaming up, the inspiration, you got to clean up in here. You got to be able to hear from God. You got to understand, okay, maybe you want to do this, but he wants you to do this. And he don't explain everything, but it makes sense by and by. But you'll miss a lot of pieces if you're not paying attention. And that's what I want to help you do. I have a very great example of this. 3 or 4 years ago, I was having a conversation with a very popular coach, and we were talking about what my niche needed to be. And it was along the lines of what I was passionate about. And at the time, Barack was maybe 1 or 2. And I was like, I do want to create generational wealth for him. And it was like, well, maybe you're here to break generational curses. And at the time, it just sounded so bigger than me. I'm like, no, I'm not that strong. I'm just trying to make sure I leave the boy a house, leave him some life insurance, just make sure I do my part. Then I went through my spiritual awakening, which started in the garden last year, which is where I meant to start this podcast off at. But oh, well, we're in the garden anyway. And I started hearing so much from God. I started hearing so much from my ancestors. I was like, and then I was told specifically that the reason why you didn't resonate with generational curses is because you're going to be a generational blessing. You've never focused on the glass being half full. You focused on the glass being half empty. You've always focused on the glass being half full. That's why you didn't hear it. But you got to understand the curse so that you can be the blessing. And you are going to pass on faith, joy, and wealth to your son, and your son is going to pass those things on to his son or daughter, but he's going to add something to it, and y'all are going to get really intentional about it. And I was like, yo, this all came from a conversation. No, not all of it, but I remember having a conversation saying this is what I was going to do or should be doing or what I'm passionate about. But it took me time to grow into that passion. It didn't make sense then because his ways is not your ways in a lot of situations. But that conversation would make so much more sense. Like, I see myself as the generational blessing, which is the curse breaker of my family. Wow. Imagination. That was engaging with your community. So it was you got to be, I don't like to be in the company of many people or a lot of people. But I really, Coach Kelly, shout out to you, respect her and engaging with that community of which I met her through all makes even more sense. Like, it feels like I joined those groups for coaching the traditional way that they were coaching, but none of that helped me that way. It was all about the one-off conversations that I had with someone like a Coach Kelly, or me meeting Dion and now seeing Dion make $11 million off of social media, him being the inspiration. I also realized that those people are how I see myself. I was attracted to the excellence in them. My spirit of excellence recognized their spirit of excellence. And the fastest way for me to get in community and supportive networks of that type of spirit was to join their coaching programs. But now that I am more aware of who I actually am, I don't regret joining any of them, but I understand what they were for now. Even I guess I love talking about my boyfriend. I told him that even though a lot of the coaching didn't work out the way I thought it should have as far as like the money, I would have never met him if it wasn't for the friend that I met in one of my coaching programs that introduced me to him. So that's how engaging in the right communities work. It may not be what you think it is. That's when I hear people say, "Oh, I wasted my money." You wasted nothing. If you thought it was a failure, did you learn something? Did you get a lesson? Did you make a connection? Turn it into a bright side. And I told him, like, I think it was a $30,000 mentorship that I met his friend that introduced us. If this partnership, this relationship goes the way I want it to go, and the way I hope God desires it to go, that 30,000 was a drop in the bucket. Like, you either meet them this way or you meet them that way. You know what I'm saying? You pay for a matchmaker. You get on these apps. You pay with your time. Like, you go on these dates and you pay with your energy. I'm not doing all of that. Like, let me stay focused, engage with the right communities, and get introduced appropriately to inspiration, to motivation, to people. But I'm very strategic about who I allow in my ecosystem. Even so much so, the point I meant to make earlier about me sleeping on the floor when I first moved to Atlanta at 22, I own 2 houses now. I got a total of 9 bedrooms. I literally sleep in the couch, in my office, in my bed, in Savannah, in Atlanta. Like, it's no big deal. But look how far I've come. Look at the resilience of what we've been able to do. Okay? Give yourself credit, which leads us to nurture. Nurture a positive environment for yourself and those around you. Not many people are welcome to my new homes. I've experienced haters at my old properties. I've experienced witches at my old property. And I'm just like, I'll meet y'all out and about. I'll meet y'all maybe at your house, but I am protecting my sanctuary. I just have to nurture my environment and keep it pure and clean at all times. And that comes with me saying, no, you can't come here. You can't sit here. All right. So keep yourself in positive environments. Keep your house positive. It all starts at home, and charity spreads abroad. Courage. The C is for courage. Cultivate courage to face fears and take action despite of adversity. Y'all, I used to think courage was not being afraid. Courage is being very afraid, but doing it anyway. And then you win. And then you're like, I did it. And then you're like, I'm so strong. I'm so bold. I'm so brave. But the fear sometimes is there. The fear, that's the point I really want to make. It's a lot of things that I do, and I do it with a lot of fear. But God didn't give me the spirit of fear, so I already know that's the devil, and I can't let the devil win. So because I know it is the devil, yeah, I might feel it, but I know how to fight the devil. I fight the devil with faith. I fight the devil with moving forward. The devil, I can't acknowledge it's the devil's plan and then let the devil plan play out. No. Courage. Move with courage. And execute, guys. Take decisive action on your goals and your dreams with determination. I sleep on things a little way too much than I should, but eventually it gets done. And I love that when I was on the podcast with Donnie Wiggins, full transparency, she brought to my attention that I like hurdles. I feel like I know I'm a runner. I know I'm a track star. I didn't know I was a hurdler though. And and she said that's really the difference between she's a very successful entrepreneur in the coaching space. And she was like, I think like one of the main differences my execution versus yours. And I can agree with that. Like, I go through so many hurdles. Not so many, I let me give myself more credit than that, but I do put off things. I do procrastinate. I do take my time. I do act like the opportunity is not going anywhere. And I do need to sharpen that part of my resilience in this season, guys. So yeah, I know I went through those letters really quickly. Let's do a recap. Today's episode was about breaking down the letters in the word resilience, how you can use them in your everyday life to navigate the foolishness of this world, but keep it positive and manifest your dream life. And we help you do this by joining my community where we discuss Bible verses and journaling prompts and meditation and gratitude and starting your day out correctly. How you start, things usually line up and finish that way. Okay. One last time, resilience. The R is for reinforcement. The E is for empowerment. The S is for self care. The I is for inspiration. The L is for learn. The I is for imagination. The E is for engage. The N is for nurture. The C is for courage. And the E is for execute. Okay. Guys, tuck those away somewhere where you can access them frequently, when you feel like you're going through rough patches and things are not going your way or you're thinking negatively. I want you to reference your resilience checklist and quickly decide to go another direction. All right. This episode has been brought to you by Your Accident, Your Money. If you or someone you know are ever in a car wreck, just call 888-7-MONEY-8 and we'll get you straight. Or you can click the link down below and we'll tell you where to go. But yeah, we do pay referrals up to $200 per person you send our way. God is so good, y'all. Stay encouraged. Until next time, billionaires. Peace, love, happiness.